Coming up next on this edition of In the City, Legacy Sports Tennessee announces their plans to come to Murfreesboro. Also, the city holds public information meetings on a pedestrian bridge. Plus, snow and ice this season has left damage to city streets in the way of potholes. And the city hosted a meeting at the airport about addressing ongoing homeless issues. We'll tell you about all those stories and a lot more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. Michael Lynn White is on vacation. I'm Mike Browning. A private business has decided to make Murfreesboro their home with a multi-million-dollar investment, making the big announcement right here at Murfreesboro City Hall.
Since the announcement of the exciting new sports mega complex coming to Murfreesboro, our area has been buzzing about what it will mean for the city and Rutherford County. And what exactly is this place? Well, we spoke with the owners and developers on why they chose Murfreesboro and how it will benefit our community.
It's an exciting vision that came about almost 30 years ago from my father to put together these youth family sports entertainment parks. It started off with 4 fields and just a little bar restaurant, and that vision has now evolved. This will be our second family sports entertainment park in the country.
CEO of Legacy Sports, Chad Miller, says being shuttled around with his brother to different sports as a kid, there seemed to be a lack of things to do for those who weren't out on the field.
We always were a big fan of youth sports in general, participants in youth sports, but the problem always persisted. What do you do in between games? How do you feed the kids? What do you do for entertainment with the rest of the family members? What kind of service offerings are there, not just for the people that are playing the sport, but really those who are there to watch and kind of enjoy that as a family?
This new $350 million sports complex is an answer to those needs.
We're going to have hundreds of courts, fields, playing services, bar restaurants, retail, indoor arena, amphitheater, health, fitness, wellness, medical clinics. So we really have something for anybody and everybody at this park. This will be one of the largest family sports entertainment parks in the world.
After about 10 months of looking for sites and locations, they could have chosen anywhere in the nation, but decided on Murfreesboro.
We wanted to plant our roots here and try to have an impact on the community. And really, Murfreesboro has just always felt right to us. So to be able to find a piece of property with the Horde family, which has been unbelievable to work with, right off the 840 and Broad Street, to have a location like that come available in a city that we believe in and believes in us, like Murfreesboro, I think that's really the real reason. That and the city staff has been unbelievable.
This park will drive millions of people to Murfreesboro each year and millions of dollars in economic impact.
While this generates hundreds of millions of dollars in economic spend, it truly is the communities. We want the community to take ownership and pride in this development to call their own. Places where individuals and families can come together and congregate, not only for the family entertainment, but over their kids and the bonding of youth sports. So it's exciting from an economic impact standpoint, but it's even more exciting when you talk about the community involvement and the belief behind the project itself.
Chad and his team tell us their goal is to open the park in 2024. Make sure to stay tuned to CityTV for more information on this exciting project. For CityTV, Michael Lynn White.
We break down what Legacy Sports Tennessee will offer in their development and what city leaders expect in the way of economic growth.
The City of Murfreesboro hosted an economic development announcement at City Hall where they welcomed Legacy Sports to the community. Legacy Sports is a sports entertainment venue. Their development will consist of soccer, baseball, softball, pickleball, esports, gymnastics, cheer, dance, volleyball, hockey, basketball, and more. The $350 to $400 million corporate investment will bring around 1,000 jobs to the community. Community leaders comment on the impact this will have on Rutherford County and the city of Murfreesboro.
One of the reasons that they looked at our community is not only the amenities, the infrastructure that we have around the area for the location, but really, it's just a central hub for where we are here in Murfreesboro. And you look at the athletic events that we already host on a routine basis. People call Murfreesboro a championship town, and when you look at our parks and recreation facilities, our soccer facilities, our baseball, softball facilities, it goes hand in hand with what they're trying to do and what we can also assist them and also what they can assist to our residents.
This is terrific. To have an asset like Legacy Sports Park come and choose Tennessee and Murfreesboro is really going to be life-changing. The dollars that come in to those communities with people who want to come and take hotel rooms, who want to spend money in restaurants and retail, really going to be transformational for this area and a great win for Tennessee.
This is really a game changer for Murfreesboro. It's going to bring in a tremendous amount of investment into our community, many more new jobs, and a lot of excitement, bring a lot of visitors into Murfreesboro. Of course, Murfreesboro, being right smack in the middle of the heart of Tennessee, it makes us very easy to offer a lot of the amenities that the Legacy Group was looking for. And I think that it's going to be a win-win for the community and for Legacy Sports.
We're very excited about this. The tourism economic impact for 1 year in Rutherford County is $472 million. And this will definitely enhance our numbers and enhance our efforts to continue growing these numbers. We're so excited.
The plan to enhance the historic Bottoms area of downtown Murfreesboro is moving along as the city recently hosted an informational meeting.
The City of Murfreesboro held a public information meeting on a bridge that will connect downtown to the historic Bottoms area near Cannonsburg. The city has plans on revitalizing the historic Bottoms area and have had stakeholder meetings with businesses. The bridge is one of the ideas that came from those meetings.
But a pedestrian connection linking the Bottoms to the courthouse and downtown area. Broad Street's a very significant impediment to that pedestrian movement, and so the group determined, and our planning consultant also agreed, that providing an alternate pedestrian crossing of Broad Street would enhance the connectivity of those two areas. Historic Bottoms really refers to an early community in the city of Murfreesboro. It was located along Town Creek. It flooded often. Conditions there really were quite poor. We had a mix of uses there, a mix of building and land use types. The lay of the land today that we see in the Bottoms was actually created in the mid-50s, so it's about a 70-year-old development. We took a closer look at that area and developed the Historic Bottoms planning study, and it looked at what could be in that area and some visioning with our community and how those uses might be appropriate for how the downtown is changing.
There were three big elements that came out of the Historic Bottoms planning study. They were, 1, daylighting Town Creek, which runs underground in that area. It will be unearthed.
It's about a 1,500-foot section that we would turn into an urban stream segment. That's continuing.
2, the city has already studied realigning the intersection of Front and Vine Street so vehicles can move in and out of the Historic Bottoms. And 3, the pedestrian bridge over Broad Street.
And by taking on these three big ideas, those are very squarely opportunities that the city of Murfreesboro can execute as a part of our public infrastructure and public parks and stormwater visioning and even economic development. So we envisioned a mix of residential, perhaps some employment generating opportunities in there to either enhance those or continue the ones that are there, but then also look at a mix of retail and commercial uses, perhaps including food services, event venues, especially tied to Cannonsburg and the park property, and then just that recreational opportunity that would be created by the Lytle Creek Greenway, Cannonsburg, a pedestrian path along Town Creek, and then also connecting that to Murphy Springs. And so it created a downtown environment that we don't currently have in the city of Murfreesboro, and we thought it'd be great to tie that together with the Historic Bottoms redevelopment plan.
With January bringing more ice and snow to this area, the street department is now back out on those same streets repairing numerous potholes on the streets. This area of the country, along with others, experienced a tough winter this year with sleet and snow. And with the precipitation and salt to keep roads clear, it has wreaked havoc on the streets. The result is an unusual amount of potholes. The City of Murfreesboro Street Division is out in full force repairing the potholes all over the city.
Water, salt, ice, it's just a mixture, combination of weather. We do potholes, especially after winter, after putting the salt down, because a lot of them pop up on the road. And right now, that's our number one priority, is keeping the road safe. That way the citizens won't tear their cars up.
With Murfreesboro streets as busy as they are, safety is the main concern, not only for workers but for the motorist as well. It's a dangerous job.
Murfreesboro's growing and there's a lot more traffic, and we have to have this big sign behind me. We have it behind us, and all of us get in front of it, and then we all work as a team, just keep us safe, and that way we can get home to our family and citizens get home to their family.
Here are a few tips to keep you and the street workers safe as you approach a work zone. Stay alert and minimize distractions such as texting, adjusting the radio, or any other distractions that can take your attention away from the road. Don't tailgate. Merge into the proper lane safely. Don't speed. And be patient. The workers understand that motorists tend to be in a hurry. The main focus is to keep traffic moving safely.
This is a moving work zone, and what we try to do is keep traffic going. We'll do one side at a time, then come back down to the other side, then we go into the inside lane, especially on 4-lane highways.
The Murfreesboro Street Division urges residents to call and report any potholes within the city limits.
If they see a pothole that's dangerous, they can call the Street Division at 615-893-4380. Then we'll get the call, we'll go out and fix it.
With Murfreesboro's economic and population growth, the homeless community is a growing challenge. The city and other organizations came together recently to address this issue.
The City of Murfreesboro hosted and the Housing, Health, and Human Services Alliance of Rutherford County organized a forum to discuss the problem of homelessness impacting the city.
Each of you are going to have time to share information about your organization, the challenges that you've seen with some of our persons experiencing unsheltered or chronic homelessness. The idea of this second phase of the forum is not necessarily to solve every problem or to answer every question today, but it is an opportunity that we're taking to open this dialogue. And it's going to kind of set the stage, if you will, for future conversations that HARC's going to be facilitating and others in the community to hold deeper conversations as we start to see what those themes are.
One of the things that we have seen over the last several years is a significant increase in the amount of people that are older that are out here on the streets. And the majority of the folks that we're working with right now are people that either meet criteria for disability, so they just don't have the paperwork documentation. They've either lost the documentation, they haven't seen a doctor in so long, but they would meet criteria for that disability. Or they're on disability and they don't have access to rental property that meets their income requirements. The majority of the folks that we work with that are on disability, they might get anywhere between $735 to $1,100 a month, and there's nowhere in Murfreesboro that you can rent affordably for that amount of money. Thank God for the Housing Authority. We are so incredibly thankful for their partnership, because that deep rental subsidy has been an absolute lifesaver for some of our folks. But even the people that we've been able to get into permanent housing, some of them have not even been able to make it a full year in housing because of the health conditions that they experience as a result of living on the streets for so long.
Being a downtown branch obviously puts us in the location where many of our patrons come in that are experiencing homelessness. And so I've been with the library now for 11 years. And in my 11 years at Linebaugh, I continue to see growth in the number of people that are experiencing homelessness and or transient. And so many people would be afraid and feel unsafe to come into the library. They don't want to bring children in. Sometimes they do ask for money, whether it's in the parking garage, in the elevators, or at the library. And that hinders people from wanting to come into our facility. We did hire a security guard, and we do have him to be the first person kind of that walks through the facility, make sure people staying awake and following our procedures and rules. I think one of my biggest concerns in these last few years is the number of increased patrons that have mental issues, health issues. We have had more partnerships with some of our mental health providers, and they are starting to make regular visits now to the library and begin to really connect with some of our regular patrons who are experiencing mental illness and other issues to try to help them. And that has encouraged me.
We are a place where people can come get basic needs met in order to begin to stabilize a crisis and then move toward integration into mainstream community life. So you can get things like meals or food staples or showers, I don't know. I would suspect that most all of us in this room took a shower today. Because it's hard to feel good about yourself if you're not cleaned up and you're not presentable and you can't be in the community and feel like you belong. The only people that can initiate change is the individual themselves. Now, I hear a lot of people talking about folks with substance abuse issues and other things like that. That is a central part. Co-occurring substance abuse issues are a very, very central part of chronic homelessness. But the bottom line is recovery is not for people who need recovery. It's for people who want recovery. And so we have to help people understand they have value, that we care about them, that they belong in our community. That, that's how you get people to start to believe that they want to move in a different direction and journey in a different path. And so those are the things that Journey Home's about. We believe that resources alone, housing alone is not the answer. You're never going to solve homelessness by simply adding more housing. But I'll also tell you, you're never going to end homelessness without adding more housing.
Sometimes the most beautiful word in any language is your own name, and sometimes the homeless, that's all they own is their name. And one thing we can do is these homeless that we meet is to remember their names and call them by name, because the starting point, I think, of the human condition is feeling there's value, like Scott mentioned, and knowing that there's value and worth there, both from a faith-based perspective that I echo with Scott and everybody probably on this panel, is also from a perspective of these people may have nothing. Turning a blind eye, not making eye contact with people, and spending your whole life with people looking away from you isn't a great way to live life. So what's cool is in our town, so many of these organizations are looking these people in the eye, calling them by name, and showing that there's value and worth in every person. The police force here, with the incidences we've had, not only at our business, but other businesses on the square that have contacted me, we have some of the best law enforcement officers that are respectful, not only to this population, but also are very responsive. So I want to thank them for their involvement in these situations, because it's not an easy job. And just because they're the police, they can't cure homelessness, right? They can't cure mental illness. I mean, this is something that they're kind of our last resort and an element of help.
The important piece is the support services, because, meeting them out on the street, they're already facing so many challenges and have so many barriers. So just putting them into housing is definitely not the best thing to do. We have to start right where they are on the street and finding out, okay, what do they need right then and there. So a lot of them definitely have mental issues and dealing with substance abuse. So that's something that has to be faced then. And then, there's the talk about putting them into housing and then continuing those support services.
So we have had some discussions with the city, and we are exploring hiring security to make our facilities safer, we hope. We have given our staff, all have had training now in administering Narcan, which is not something we ever thought we would be doing at a children's museum. And I think the police department has now placed one of their mobile surveillance units in our parking lot, and we appreciate that, just to kind of hopefully give that presence there to cut down on some of this. It is our desire to be a part of the solution to these problems, because we do consider ourselves a community hub and a place for families and children, but at the same time, we have to have our facility be safe for our staff and our visitors. So that's why we're very glad to be here, and we're glad that you asked us to be here, and we just look forward to working with everyone here going forward.
Because of my role with Parks and Recreation, I've worked for the city for 20 years, was Greenway coordinator for a portion of that, and the impact to parks, especially that within a half-mile radius, of some of the services is strong, of course. Our parks are public parks, and they are absolutely for everyone that are there to follow the rules, and we need to make sure that they are safe and welcoming spaces for everyone. I want to speak for a moment to our city staff, our park staff. You all see from from several ends of city staff sometimes, but our frontline staff, the custodians, our park maintenance that are in the parks, the ones that are cleaning the restrooms that have been horribly misused, the ones that are cleaning spaces that have been horribly misused. I want to speak on their behalf for a second. I think some of our frontline staff have also been threatened and are also very caring people that want to be a part of solutions as well.
For those interested in this topic and want to learn more about these issues, go to the Housing, Health, and Human Services Alliance of Rutherford County at www.h3arc.org.
We all know the importance of reading, but how would you like to read and get rewarded for it? Linebaugh Library has just the program for you.
Linebaugh Public Library is holding its third annual Harry Nelson Memorial Adult Winter Reading Program from January 23rd to March 5th, 2022. Patrons are challenged to meet a goal of reading and reviewing at least 6 books over the course of the program. Linebaugh's program honors the memory of one of its regular patrons, Harry Nelson.
We've named it for a long-standing patron that we had. He's no longer with us, so it's Harry Nelson Memorial Adult Winter Reading Program. And we challenge people who sign up to read 6 books in 6 weeks, book a week, any book you want. Doesn't have to be a library book. It's great if it is, but it doesn't have to be. Whatever genre, whatever title you want, whatever format. Ebook, audiobook, print. You can do it. Your review can be as short or as long as you want to make it. Some people give me essays, some people give me a sentence or two. And if you do your 6 books, you're going to get a $10 gift card from Simply Pure Sweets off the square here. You're going to get a $5 card that's good for a waiver in overdue fines. And you also get to pick some books. The Friends of the Library have set me up with some books. You can choose from a selection that we have. There's a grand prize for the program, one person only, if they finish the program by reading their 6 books and getting their 6 reviews, which is a $100 gift card from Country Gourmet, here off on Main Street, I believe they are. They also get their name put on. We have a very nice plaque across from the circulation desk. It's got Harry's picture on it and the name of each grand prize winner for each year. So this is the 3rd year we've had the plaque, so there's a couple of people on there, and you'll be on there too. And there are 2 ways you can sign up. You can come into the library and sign up at our front desk, or you can email Harry Nelson, WRP, at rclstn.org. And you also can send your reviews there.
We all acknowledge the importance of reading, especially at an early age. David explains what reading means to him.
It's sharing a common experience with someone, maybe, is what I think of as reading. Interacting with someone who's not necessarily there with you, but they're talking to you, whether it's nonfiction or it's a novel or the author's alive or dead. And you can have a conversation with someone. I guess it's a one-sided conversation, but someone who's been gone for hundreds of years, and yet they're right there with you. I think it makes people better people, in my opinion, no matter what you're reading.
A lot of reading programs are sponsored by local businesses, and these businesses are very important to the Rutherford County Library System. If you're a business and want to help sponsor a program, contact David at 615-893-4131, extension 123, or email do'flaherty@rclstn.org.
The inaugural Created Equal Tennessee Legacy Film Series discussion is slated for February 12th and February 26th at the Washington Theater at Patterson Park Community Center. A diverse gathering of people will come together to discuss and analyze two films, Green Book and Freedom Riders. So mark your calendar for these informative discussions. The Green Book discussion will be Saturday, February 12th, and the Freedom Riders discussion will be Saturday, February 26th. Now, both of these take place at noon at the Washington Theater and Patterson Community Center, free and open to the public. The Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department's first female captain and assistant chief is retiring after 33 years of dedicated service to the department. Assistant Chief Kay Jernigan, a Murfreesboro native, is a graduate of Oakland High School. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Liberal Studies with a minor in Public Administration from MTSU. She began her career with MFRD in November 1988. She rose through the ranks as a firefighter, driver, captain, and assistant chief. It's kind of bittersweet, Jernigan said when asked about her retirement. I can't say that I'm ready to walk away from what I'm doing, but I can't turn down the great opportunity MTSU has given me. Jernigan has been named Middle Tennessee State University's Emergency Operations Manager. Murfreesboro Police Chief Michael Bowen announces the promotion of 3 officers to the rank of sergeant. Sergeant Megan Manis has been with MPD since January 2013. Manis has worked as a patrol officer and part of the Murfreesboro Police Alcohol Countermeasures team before being promoted to sergeant. Sergeant Chris Williams began his career with the department in March 2011. He has served as a patrol officer, member of the Community-Oriented Policing Service, and School Resources Officer before being promoted to sergeant. Sergeant Jacob Fountain started as a patrol officer in October 2009. Fountain served as a patrol officer, field training officer, directed patrol, and detective before being promoted to sergeant. The City of Murfreesboro Stars Award recognizes and rewards city employees that go beyond the normal job duties to provide outstanding customer service. The latest recipient is Solid Waste Director Russell Gossett. He was recognized at a recent City Council meeting.
One of his team members, Jennifer Smith, wrote the following about Russell. Since being hired as the Director of Solid Waste, he has increased morale in our department. He has made a lot of positive changes. He exhibits fairness and stability with all employees. He doesn't openly display favoritism toward anyone. He does not ask anything of us that he is not willing to do himself. He leads by example. He has earned the respect of the department by the leadership he displays. He treats all of us as adults and expects us to act likewise. He is honest and truthful. If we ask him a question, he does not have an answer immediately, then he will tell us so. And he will get back to us once he receives the answer. This is true regardless of the amount of time it takes to get the right answer. He doesn't just tell us something to satisfy us so that we will go away. He has integrity and expects the same of those of us that he supervises. It has been a very difficult adjustment for some. However, for others, it is a change we have been waiting and wanting for such a long time. He does not say one thing to one employee and something different to another. He is the same with everyone, including vendors, other city department employees, and most importantly, the citizens. Now, personally, I've witnessed Russell's demeanor. On the outside, he comes across as a very mild-mannered individual, but on the inside, he has this burning desire to respect and support others. Mr. Gossett, on behalf of the City of Murfreesboro, thank you for displaying servant leadership.
Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the City of Murfreesboro or any of the stories you've seen here, you can always visit our website at murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see any of the stories that you've seen here today or catch up on some of the latest news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Mike Browning, and until next time, we look forward to seeing you right here in the city.